Hi, this is Erica DELSIGNORE, and I am the founder of Daily Lead Campaign, where we generate leads through social media and video marketing. And what you're watching is my video interview series called Great Minds, Great Marketing. Today we are going to be talking about the power of the testimonial. We have Troy with us. He and his family are owners of a company called So Tell Us. And not only does this company make it very easy for you to collect video testimonials, which are the most powerful testimonials probably behind an in-person testimonial to someone that's considering buying your product right that minute. This is the next best thing that you can do, and it's evergreen, and there's a lot of different ways you can use it, and they're taking this to the next level, and they've just grown by leaps and bounds in a very short amount of time. So, Troy, I'd love to welcome you to the call. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric. I'm really excited to talk with you and kind of your tribe and share some of the great stuff that we've learned in our own business.
Oh, fantastic. So one of the things that's really unique about what you're doing is that you're working with your dad and your brother. And the way you and I met was actually when the three of you were together on the recent Marketers Cruise. I'm sure you guys, please don't let these people with the toddlers sit with us.
No, we were really excited. We're a family. So, and we all have, big families. I come from a family of 4 kids, and my brother Trevor, he has 5 kids.
Wow.
And I've got 3 kids. So we love family, and we had a blast with your family. It was great.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it didn't seem to bother you at all.
No, we are used to little kids. In fact, I was excited about it because I was missing my kids. So it was good to see and spend some time around, your daughter.
Oh, thank you so much. She was well behaved that night too, which was good.
Yeah.
There was one night, the only night she was really very whiny and tired through the entire meal was when we were sitting with a single man. And he's like, oh my God.
Of course,
and
right.
She's really good.
Yeah, she did great because I think we had the late dinner too. So, yeah, she was amazing for a late dinner.
Well, that was the first night we were there. And she's actually kind of a late. I am always falling asleep before her, and for whatever reason, she's going to be one of those people that is to bed late and up early. So
that's awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, I would love to know. Like, you guys are all coming from different backgrounds. What is your background, and how did you guys all get together to start this business? And you can tell us a little bit about what the business is too. I know that I described it, but you're certainly going to be better at it than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of give you the background first. My background is from kind of sales and technology and operations. I started out in my early 20s selling Yellow Page ads to businesses, and quickly moved out of that into the online world, and I was the vice president of YP.com, which was one of the largest online directories.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ran operations and marketing, which was great. We brought on, while I was running it, we were bringing on about 8,000 new businesses a month, and we had about 300,000 clients. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to be in the corporate world and to see that, the structure and how it all worked. Mm-hmm. But after about 8 years, I realized that that's not where I wanted to be, and I wanted to be working with small business owners. Versus executives and board of directors.
Exactly.
So that's kind of where my background comes in. My dad, his entire life has been in sales, and he's always been the #1 salesman no matter where he's at.
I can tell.
Yes. He's is a salesman like true blue, and it's because he's a people person. So that's kind of where his skill set is. And then Trevor is, he's great at sales, and he has a great eye for design. So he handles kind of all of our design work and making sure everything looks good and crisp. And on top of that, he's a speaker as well, so he speaks at a lot of events. So the way we kind of came together was My dad was looking to get out of Yellow Pages and do websites. Trevor was designing websites, and I was looking to exit the publicly traded space and start working with small business owners. So we decided to just form a company together back in 1999.
Mhm.
And I brought my marketing and operation skills. My dad brought his sales skills, and Trevor brought the design. And we've just been cranking ever since.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Give us a little overview. And I know I said that you help people with this software. I didn't even say it was a software, but explain to us exactly what your software does and why it's so different than what most people are doing with video testimonials.
Yeah, so the company's So Tell Us, and that kind of comes from the idea of, if you love our service, so tell us.
Hmm.
Because there are so many businesses out there that 99% of their customers absolutely love them.
Mm.
But there's that 1% that you can't make happy. And that's the 1% that goes online and leaves bad reviews. So people get this impression of, oh, this business, oh, that's a 3-star business. Well, that's because a few people maybe didn't like their experience, but hundreds of people did. So we really wanted to create a system that would capture the success stories of a business
Mm.
and use it in their marketing. And that's why we built So Tell Us. And it basically starts with an app that businesses can use, and they put it on their phone or a tablet, and in 30 seconds they can collect a video, audio, or written review or testimonial from their
Mm.
customers. Or they
Okay.
can actually send a text message to their customers, and the customer can actually do the same thing, a video, audio, or written review from their own phone, and they don't have to download an app, they don't have to create a profile. It literally takes less than 30 seconds. And the reason
Okay.
I say review versus testimonial is we originally started to build a testimonial system.
Right.
But we quickly realized that we wanted it to do so much more than just that, and we really wanted to help our customers get ranking in the search engines. So we knew that in order to get that credibility, we needed to create a review versus a testimonial.
Okay.
And by doing that, we were able to, actually get ranking on the first page of Google because we're a preferred review system. So it's like
Mm.
if you think about it, it's like you have this awesome video testimonial, but it
Yes.
has 5 stars and it
Yes.
shows up on the first page of Google,
Hmm.
so it has a ton of credibility. And that was kind of the end goal of what we built, was that ability to do that. And then our system automates the marketing of it, so it automatically pushes these reviews into your website, pushes them through your social media sites, and then we optimize them and get them ranked on Google. So it becomes, kind of a, you do one thing, which is capture the success story, and then we'll automate all of the marketing for you.
Wow, that sounds incredible. That sounds expensive. Is that a really expensive service on a monthly basis?
No, it isn't really. I mean, for what it does, it's actually not very expensive at all. And the reason why is because we spent 2 years and a lot of money building the automation of it. Because we work with a lot. I mean, we worked with thousands of small business owners over the last 19 years, and
Right.
we realized from the get-go that small business owners can't afford to have huge marketing budgets. So the way that they could compete with the bigger companies was automation. They had to be able to do it quickly and let a system do the rest of the work for them. Otherwise, because if they're sitting there, if you imagine you take a carpet cleaner, if he's sitting in front of his computer working on marketing all day, he's not making any money because he's not cleaning any carpet. So we had to figure out a way that they could do something in 30 seconds or less and let the marketing be automated. So so normally the system is like $199 for
Sure.
the setup, and then it's $99 a month.
Okay.
And
That's not bad at all for everything it does.
yeah, absolutely. And we do, we've always believed that we should never lock a customer into a contract.
Right.
It's kind of like marriage. If it's not working for you, then
Get
you
out.
probably don't want to be stuck together.
Yeah.
You know. So I've been married for 18 years and I love it. But when you have a customer that's just it's not working out, you don't want to have them locked in with you. That's never a good situation.
Definitely. Definitely not. Um, so You have an incredible story, I believe. Oh, actually, let me ask you one little side question
Sure.
that I thought of when you were talking. Just a little clarification. So you were talking about getting all of these hundreds of five-star reviews that would help you overcome like the one or two people that might go on and give you a bad review. And essentially that really ruins a business. Um, I know that some of these companies, and I don't know if I should name names, but some of these review companies where people go to like look up restaurants and that sort of thing, um, they will make people pay them to put the bad reviews lower down. I mean, does your system overcome that at all, or is it just that the volume of great reviews still kind of overcomes what's going on with what their motivation is?
Yeah, that's a big key feature for us is we're not going to filter any bad reviews you might get, meaning, because we want to be honest about it. But our
Right.
system is about, if you do get, we're not going to, well, here's how it works. So we're not going to push, if you get a one-star review, we're not going to push that through your marketing because that's not fair to you. But we're going to notify you of it. And then what we want is we want you to go and try to correct the situation.
Right.
With the client. And if you can do that, the system, with the click of a button, you can actually send a text message to the customer once you fixed it, and they can re-review you. So you can turn that 1-star into a 5-star, and then it becomes a part of your marketing. So that's really the goal, is to capture the success stories, find maybe where you made a mistake, fix it, and then create a success story out of it using the system. And then from a search engine perspective, yeah, the goal is to help these businesses create all this positive exposure and get that on the first page of Google so that if they do maybe have a 3-star, review on the first page of Google on one of these other sites because that site is promoting it, they can counter that with all the 5-star reviews in another review system right there on that page. And one thing that we do, which is really important, is every single review, we actually optimize them individually. And what that means is, and we submit them to the search engines individually. And the reasoning behind that is that, you may see one of those other review systems on the first page of Google once, because you just have one page with them and they just optimize that one page. Well, you may see our customers will have 3 or 4 reviews on the first page of Google because each one is submitted individually to the search engine. So, you may have one bad one up here, but then you've got 3 5-stars below that,
I
all on the
see.
first page of Google.
Well, that's great. That's I'm sure that that would be a relief to a lot of companies out there that are kind of freaking out every time something like that happens. And my husband's a lawyer, and it doesn't happen very often, but you can't please everyone, especially when you're in business for a long time and you've got a lot of clients. And he does DUI law. You met him, and so you can imagine if somebody loses a case, they may have been peeing in a beer can in their car, and and the police walked up while they were getting pulled over. That actually happened. And they may be unhappy if they, even though they completely messed it up, it was almost like Mission Impossible. They might be unhappy. I actually think he won that case, but
Wow, he's
but
really
that's just an
good.
example. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's just an example. I mean, they may have like crashed into somebody's house, and he couldn't get them off because it was completely obvious that they were drunk, and the elderly people that own the house are angry,
Oh,
whatever the
yeah,
case. So,
absolutely. You'll
so
even have
that's
people who aren't your customers leave
right.
reviews for you. That kills me. Like, how can someone who's never used your services leave a review? And we've had people try to do that in the Sotella system and say,
Really?
like we have a perfect example is we have a home inspector that got a review, and his client was the buyer, but he found problems with the home. Well, the homeowner went out and blasted him all over the
Ah,
internet and tried to blast him in Sotellus as well, saying, hey, this guy, did a terrible job. Well, in our system, we give you the ability to dispute a review. And
right.
so he very simply went in, clicked it, and said, this is not a client. And our team verified that that person was not the actual person who paid for the services, and the review was removed because they don't have the right to review a business that they didn't use.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that someone's got a verification for that because you're right. there's no there's no rules against somebody just going in and writing what they want on the internet, and that could be your competition doing that. So,
Exactly. In fact, it's interesting you say that because Amazon, I mean, we all love Amazon, right? And all their
right.
reviews. Amazon in October of last year sued 1,500 businesses that their entire model is writing fake reviews in Amazon. So they would have 1,500 businesses that are writing either positive reviews for products or negative reviews against competing products and are trying to shut them down. So yeah, it's really bad, you know.
That is so shady.
Oh yeah.
And it's so testimonials and reviews are like the lifeblood of a business nowadays. Yeah, it wasn't the same way before we had social media and the internet, but now it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, you look at just in the news lately. Think about stuff that's happened in the news, where people go on social media and blast, Uber or some of these other companies, and they're completely changing their policies because of the power of social proof and people, talking about them online. So it's getting
So
more and more powerful every day.
yeah, it's so true. You have to watch what's in the news about your company, and you have to watch what people are saying on social media, because it's so easy to hit share and then all of a sudden it's viral, and video is a big thing with it. So but that's really great. Now, you had a really cool story, and I do typically ask people on this Great Minds, Great Marketing about a challenge that you might have had in your business that either turned out into a triumph or or a lesson if it didn't. I've heard people say, well, I had to close that business, and that's fine. But my audience likes to learn from that sort of thing, and would love if I know that you have a great story you want to share in this realm. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you, and I try to share this story as much as I can with business owners because I think it's important to not only see the great things that happen in a business, but take a look at the trials and challenges and see what you can learn from them. And so our situation was we started the business in 1999, and it was very successful. Was doing really, really well. And in about 2008 or so, right when the market was going down and things were happening, it was affecting us, but it wasn't affecting us too bad. But we had made a decision a little bit before that we were going to figure out a way to separate ourselves from other, marketing companies out there. Because anybody with a laptop, could claim to be an internet marketer. And
Sure.
we're like, what separates us from everybody else? So the idea we came up with was to really start doing software development. So creating software that would, like we discussed, automate marketing for our small business owners and help them compete. And that's something our competitors wouldn't have, our proprietary software. So we spent a lot of time and a lot of money building out a great product, and we launched it. And we started, advertising on Facebook and advertising it on Google AdWords. And we first released it to our own customers because we always use them first so that they can test it and we can see what results they get before we launch it out to everybody. And it worked really great with our customers, but when we launched online, it wasn't really working. The marketing just wasn't there. And it was because we were a little too far ahead of the curve. We were basically doing content marketing back before anyone knew what content marketing was.
Right.
So it became a little difficult. But we knew the product was amazing, so we kept pouring more and more money into it. And we literally almost drove our business into bankruptcy because we just had so much faith in the product. We knew how it would help anybody who got it, but the marketing message just wasn't right. And we got down to where we were probably, we're going to have to lay off our employees, and we're probably a couple of months away from closing the doors. And here we're going, man, we've had this business for a decade. How can this happen? And we took one last stab at it. And we said, you know what, we need to rethink the entire marketing. And we took one of our employees and we sent him out, and we had him fly over and meet with some of our top clients that were using the product. And he sat down with them and just was going to interview them and find out what they liked about it, how it helped them. And so he spent about a week or two doing that, and he came back and he goes, guys, we got to go in the conference room and you got to see this. So we went and we sat down, and he pops up this video on the screen, and it's one of our customers, Laredo, and he is a janitorial service, commercial cleaner in upstate New York, and he starts sharing this experience about how he, had been in business for 10 years, and he made about $140,000, which was great, but he hadn't been on vacation in 10 years because he could never get away from the business. And he talked about using our product and how he had generated over $400,000 in revenue using it, and how he was on track to do almost $1 million the next year because of of the growth that he was getting. And it was amazing. And then he shared this amazing story where he says, I finally went on vacation with my wife to the Bahamas, and hold on real quick.
That's okay. We're live, so.
All right. So anyway, so he shared this story. He says, I finally was able to go on vacation because the business grew with my wife, and he goes, and I called Ron Howard, which is my dad. And he's like, hey, Ron, this is Laredo. And he goes, oh, hey, Laredo, what's up? He goes, I just want to tell you that I'm on vacation with my wife. And my dad's kind of like, well, Laredo, that's great, but why are you calling me when you're on vacation with your wife? And he choked up a little bit. He goes, no, you don't understand, Ron. I'm on vacation with my wife for the first time in 10 years. And you guys have to do that. And it was just like blew us away. We're like, oh my gosh. And then he showed the next video of another one of our clients and how she went from, making about $300,000 a year to almost $1 million a year. And then the next one, it was a carpet cleaner making about $7,000 a month to making $25,000 a month. And we were totally blown away. We knew the product was great, but we didn't realize the changes it had made in our clients' lives. So we scrapped all of our marketing, and we rolled out a video that just very basically, I introduced a little bit of the product, and then we went right into the videos of our clients, talking about their experiences. And, you wouldn't believe the difference. Within 6 months, we generated $500,000 in recurring revenue off of that video. So we just took the stories of 3 of our customers, just 3 of them, and generated $500,000 in recurring revenue because we stopped talking about our product and let our customers talk about it. And it just skyrocketed. And at that point, we knew that this was a totally different way to market your business and your services, and we knew we had to not only do it in our marketing, but we had to figure out how to help our clients do it as well. So it literally saved our business by capturing that social proof, if you will, those videos.
Wow, that's amazing, and so fantastic to hear that something small like that, and it's true. I was a B&I director for years, and at the end of every meeting, we would do testimonials, and it was always incredibly powerful. But when I got into my own marketing, I realized, well, those testimonials are just kind of said out loud once in a meeting, and then they disappear. Like, we do a lot with video testimonials. Not a client yet. I just found out about you. But I have them all over my website, and I put them in sizzle reels that I send out on email campaign advertising. And it is incredibly powerful because, when you think about it, I can say all the great things about myself that I want, but if my client is saying it, then who are you going to believe more?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was interesting. I met, do you know Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank?
I've met him. He's very involved in the info marketing world. He works a lot with Speaking Empire and a few others, actually.
Great guy, right? Absolutely amazing. And I met him, and he and I have spoke at several events together, and he taught me something really interesting about social proof and testimonials, and especially video, because I didn't realize it, but he told me that he was working on a new product, which is like this fishing lure, and he said that they sent out their videographers, and they captured 100 video testimonials to create this infomercial. And they actually used 65 of those video testimonials in a 30-minute infomercial. So I was like, wait,
Wow.
what? I'm like, how did you fit it in? He goes, oh, well, he goes, it's, you don't realize it the way we do it. He goes, but it's just testimony after testimony, social proof, social proof, social proof in that 30 minutes. We jam it in there. Um, and they spent like $250,000 to go out and get all these videos and get it all done. But he told me, he goes, we generated 500 million sales off of that infomercial. And
Wow.
and that was the thing. He goes, most people don't realize that 70% of infomercials is all social proof. It's other people, talking about the product, sharing their experience. And you wonder, like us as business owners, if it works so well, in an infomercial,
Hmm.
and he can generate $4 billion in sales off of it,
Right.
why don't we as business owners use that same model in all of our marketing? Why do we send out marketing and put together videos and things like that, and we include zero social proof or testimonials or reviews or anything along with it? It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, no, that is crazy. And I remember you talking about this at dinner or at one of the things we were at together. It might have been Pizza and Profits, but once he found out about your product, wasn't he like, oh man, you mean I didn't have to hire all those videographers for $99 a month? I could have just sent out an email and everyone would have done it for me. Wow.
Oh yeah, he went crazy over it. He's like, you got to be kidding me. In fact, he goes, don't tell my clients about it because that's one of the services I offer is getting the videos. But yeah, that's exactly what he said. He goes, you're telling me that I can do the exact same thing. I can do it in a matter of minutes
Hmm.
because we've literally had customers capture 200 videos in 5 minutes. So he's like, I could do it in a matter of minutes without sending anyone anywhere. We're like, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's great news. So that's wonderful. So now that you've got so that was a great story, and video testimonials are really important. I wanted to ask you, um, as far as strategies go to grow your business, has it just been video testimonials? Are there other things that you can tell us about that you love to use to drive new business into your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So, social proof in videos is a big part of it. We try to make sure that no marketing piece goes out ever without including some sort of social proof around, involved in it or in it. That's a big part of our marketing strategy. Another thing that's really worked for us over the years is partnerships. I can't stress enough the value of finding the right strategic partners and then working with them. And again, by doing that, it's interesting too because I talk a lot about social proof, and this kind of goes back to social proof too. But when you work with a great partner and they introduce you to their followers or their tribe or their customers,
Mhm.
that's social proof as well. You are getting credibility because they're making that introduction. So that's one of the fastest ways we've grown our business over the last 19 years is by finding the right partners that we can provide a great service to their customers for. And then you're not selling one-to-one, you're selling one to many. And the other thing too that's been very successful for us is getting out there and speaking
Right.
at events. That's been a huge blessing in our life is speaking, just speaking in front of audiences and really educating them on how to grow their business and building that trust with them.
Now, who's doing most of the speaking of the three of you?
So right now it's pretty much shared between Trevor and I.
Hmm.
And like for example, last week I spoke to about 500 businesses in Dallas. He spoke
Wow.
to about 250 businesses up in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, it's very interesting though because talking about family dynamics, he is very. I mean, you met Trevor. He is very energetic, very
Yeah.
animated. So whenever we're booking these speaking events, it's like, okay, what's the better fit? Do we
Yeah.
need super high energy? Then we send Trevor. Is it more of an educational thing, or maybe doctor, something like that? Then I'll usually go because we have our strengths and we connect and click, with different groups. But yeah, he's our high energy one.
It is funny you say that about him because at dinner the first night I met him, he was sitting next to us and he just seemed so laid back. And I think it was the next day when you two went up and you spoke together to introduce your company, for the 60 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He has turned into a crazy man.
Oh yeah, I mean it's amazing. I've watched him on stage. He is really high energy most of the time, but man, I've seen him get on big stages and just goes crazy, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
It is. So he can go into that next gear when he's got to.
Yes, he's got to save that energy a little bit though, because then he's got to really hit it.
The thing is, not everyone can pull that off because sometimes you just end up sounding fake or whatever it is. But he's very genuine. Your whole family is very genuine. When you, yeah, and you certainly have tons of testimonials.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate you saying that too, because it really is true. He is very genuine. He's not just high energy and it's fake. And that's one of the reasons why I do not present the way he presents, because I'm not as high energy, and I feel like it kind of comes off a little bit, not as real, against my personality. And I think people can feel that. So, we really try to pick the audience and the right speaker to give the most value to whoever's attending.
That's really good. Have you guys done any of the personality assessments?
We did one that is the color one. Where you're certain. Yeah, I think I can never remember what it's called, but I know he is like a yellow, which is like
high eye. Yep.
Yeah, and then he's a little bit of red, and my dad's the same thing, yellow, yellow to the max, loves to play. And I'm the blue, which is
the conductor.
Yes, exactly, the conductor.
Okay. Well, my husband's a conductor. They're typically your analytical people. They don't like to take risks. They're not usually the zany guys out there, but the influencers. That's what I am. And then it's interesting because most people will change when they're at work and then when they're at home. And some people don't change. So I am always that same person. Usually, I really have to work to tone it down, especially for these interviews that I can match the personality that I'm with. But growing up, I was always too talkative, too whatever. And so I'll always annoy a certain type of person. Usually the red people. So.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Not seeming to talk to me.
But see, I think you and your husband have a great match because, like, with Ron, Trevor, and I think that's why we've been able to work together.
Yes.
And we've been so successful because we are so different in so many different ways. Our skill sets are very different, but our personalities are very different. So both of them push me to, push harder and take more risks. And then I rein them back when we need to pull back a little bit. So I think you need that balance, in business.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because the people I get along with the best are the blue people, the conductors. And so all of my friends, my sister's analytical and it follows the rules and everything. And I have to be with people like that. So
yeah. We love being with people like you because you create the fun for us, whereas we're kind of like, a lot of times, like, it's funny because I'll tell people, like, oh, I'm kind of an introvert, like, I could almost be like a hermit, and people are like, what? You're very animated, excited, and I'm like, I am, but it takes a lot out of me, so, I need people like you that pull me out, that's really important.
Well, that's really good, and the best salespeople can just kind of be chameleons and change who they are depending on who they're with. And that's something that I always have to work on personally because I just like to be the same with everyone. But like you said, like there are just different people out there, and you can work well with people if you can speak in a language that they can hear. And so it's so cool to hear like what your family is like. Well, I used to have a recruiting company, so I used to be a distributor for DISC, and they gave me the first month free. So I could do as many as I wanted and test out the product. So I gave it to like my whole family, like aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and I'm like, look, do this 10-minute thing. It's going to spit out a 32-page report about you. And it was amazing, like how accurate it was. And
Isn't that
uh,
crazy? So
yeah,
did anyone say like, no, that's not me? Or anyone like, did anyone
nobody
like,
said that.
oh, that's good.
Nope, nobody said that. And I used to use it as a selling point for my recruiting business. So even when I would go into, like, it was all sales recruiting. So actually, Yellow Book was one of my biggest clients. And
Oh,
in 2009, I actually lost that business because of what was happening in 2009. And
yeah.
so I know exactly what you were talking about because that was one of my biggest clients. I did all their salespeople. And so it was definitely interesting because I would have a sales manager do the disc before I would go in. And I remember one man in particular scared me a little bit. He was a D, in the red, and came across as kind of arrogant, and he started reading it out loud to me, and it was like saying that he was arrogant, and people saw him that way, and it was like my worst nightmare. And I'm like, oh God, what is he going to say? And it's like, this is pretty accurate. That I can't balance work and home life and all that. And I'm like, oh, geez, thank God he's agreeing with it because otherwise that could be very insulting and we could have started on the wrong foot.
Yeah. That's the ones, see the D's, that's the ones where I've experienced where it's funny because if they don't see themselves that way, like if they don't
Yeah,
see that it fits them, it's hilarious, like, because then they
start
argue,
acting that way.
they're arguing about like, this is not me, I am not argumentative. And it's funny
Exactly.
because my sister, we were doing one of these tests with her, and she was just like, no, that's not me, and that's not this, and we're going, even her husband's kind of looking at her going, you're like proving it right now. So yeah,
Oh,
I love those tests. I think they're great.
yeah, me too. It's a little dicey when you're giving it to a stranger, but yeah. So that's fun. And it helped with my recruits to find out, make sure that I had the D's and the I's in the sales positions, because those were typically the people that rose to the top, when you were
Yes.
looking for those. So,
Yeah, that's so
um,
important. I think more business should use that to really determine, and not only to determine who's best for what job, but then to determine, for me, it's also really important to know how I need to reward them and how they feel like they're. So if I know more about the personality, then I can cater and tailor my messaging to them to make them feel like they're doing a great job. Um, so I think that's really
that
important
was
to understand.
part of that DISC assessment had a section with how to sell to each and every personality type. And so that's really helpful and educational. And nowadays they've got really much more in-depth personality assessments out there. You can even tell who's going to probably stay with you longest, how long they're going to last, all that stuff. But I liked those simple little tests. So we got off on a big tangent. Uh, but that's okay. It's all educational.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you. I know that you had a special offer for the audience, and um, I think they would be silly not to take it, if I can say that,
Yeah. No,
because
absolutely.
it's an incredible opportunity to test out something that could help boost their business and add another zero to their revenue this year, quite frankly, and maybe a couple zeros, like what happened with you guys.
Yeah.
So, what is the special offer that you have?
Yeah, so what we like to do, and is we'd like to, because again, we're small business owners like everybody who's probably listening,
Yeah.
and we understand, that sometimes something may work in your business, may not work in your business. So that's why we always do no contracts. And the other thing too is we really want to make sure that our system, the Sotella system, will work in the business, and that the business owner will work the system, meaning use it. So what we do is what we'd like to offer is a 30-day free trial of the system. So basically, you don't pay the $199 setup fee. You don't pay the $99. We give you 30 days absolutely free to start using the system, implement it in the business. And what I'd actually offer too to your the people who see this is we'll actually give you what we call a success coach. So it's not like you go get the software, download it, and you're on your own. No, we'll actually give you a coach that will call you, get on the phone. It takes about 20 minutes to implement and get everything set up so that you're ready to get your first video and audio and written reviews. And then they'll actually train you and teach you how do you ask for one, how do you overcome an objection if they say like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to do video. Well, great, let me show you how to still get the video and make them feel comfortable. So they really go through, and they'll even train staff. If you have staff, they'll train the staff on it and have them do test reviews and make sure everyone's comfortable. So the success coach is really important because we want to make sure that you have 30 days to really use the system, capture those reviews, and see it go through your marketing. And then from there on, it just goes on at the $99 a month at no contract. And another thing that's really important too about us is we give the business owners a full license to the reviews, the videos, and everything, meaning that even if a customer cancels with us, even a year down the road if a customer cancels with us, they can actually download all of their reviews and continue to use them in their marketing however they like, which is
great.
Yeah, and it's really important too because if you look at the other systems out there, the other review sites, and you actually read their terms, they own your reviews. And some go as far as to say that if you take those reviews and put them anywhere else,
they'll sue you.
Yeah, they'll sue you. So to me, that's just wrong. You created that success story. You're the one who made that customer feel that way. So you should get to keep it. So that's always been our policy, is that they have ownership in that too, and they can use it in all. We want them to use it in all their marketing. One of the things that we do with our new clients is we teach them not only how to use the system and market through it, but we actually teach them how to take this content and market it in other ways outside of the system, how to use it in their email marketing, how to use it in their print marketing, how to use it in sales presentations if they're out doing presentations, how to incorporate it in there to help them land more jobs. So it's not really about us. We're just the system to capture the marketing, for them and kind of automate it, but it's about them growing their business.
That's fantastic. Now, it sounds like your special would help them avoid the setup fee altogether if they just started with the 1 free month and then kept going at $99 a month. Is that how I heard it? Right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we literally waive the setup fee so that they never pay that if they take advantage of that offer.
Now also, to get them started, and I know you said that there is a success coach with that, one of the things that you're suggesting is to send it out to all of your clients. Obviously you had a great experience, and get them to do the video testimonial right away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you want to capture your very best, testimonials or reviews right then. So either if you can do it in person, I like in person. That's my preference if I can, because there is a connection and there's an emotion that can come up when you're there face to face with somebody that really comes through the video. But if you can't, then you can literally shoot them a text message or shoot them an email, and they can do it right from their own phone. Another thing I suggest, though, is give them a quick phone call. Just say, hey, Bob, it's so great, to catch up with you. I just want to let you know you're going to receive a text message. I'd love for you to do a review and share your experience with me, of how our company or how I've helped you. And you kind of help generate that emotion coming back through the phone call, and then boom, they can give it to you right after you hang up the phone, and you can capture it that way.
Absolutely. So that's great advice, and it's nice to know that unlike some softwares that you start out with, and there's so many out there to help your business in a lot of different ways, you get them and you have no idea what the heck to do and how to really use it to benefit yourself and your business. So I think that's amazing. And geez, I just started one for the live streaming this week, and there was really no instructions on that I needed another type of software to make it work. So and now I'm downloading 2 softwares to get the thing to work, and then it was like kind of a complicated process. So great business idea that you had to have someone really helping walk people through, and then that helps with your attrition, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about, because what we found is once people capture, these success stories and they see the marketing going out there and they see the impact it has, they
Right.
don't want because they want to keep getting. I mean, who doesn't want to hear great stuff about themselves? Other people saying stuff about them. So yeah, it helps. The only people we ever get that cancel is because they just don't implement at all. They don't go out, and ask for the reviews. And a lot of people, sometimes people have trouble asking. They have a problem asking. But you got to realize that, in order to, we actually like teach, like sometimes you have to say like, look, it would really help me help other clients if you could give this review and I could share that experience with them. So you kind of have to take it of like, sometimes you just have to take it of like, look, it's not just about me and you saying something great about me. This is going to help me help other people, with my services that needed help like you did. So if you think about it that way, it kind of gets a little bit easier, but they just, if they don't ask, then they're not going to capture those success stories.
That's right. You have to ask. That's the first step. So, well, this is fantastic. I hope that everybody takes advantage of, what Troy's offering here, and you try it out for free. And I know if you're shy about asking for it, most people really don't mind. I guarantee you, 97% of the people you ask probably not going to care. And there's always going to be a few people that don't want to do it, and that might even be because of you. They just may not like being on video. So it doesn't hurt to ask. And so, yeah, I want to thank you so much for being on the call today. Video testimonials is one of my favorite topics, and you guys have just learned how to capitalize on it and help your clients with that. More than anyone I've ever heard of. It's fantastic to hear about these innovative ideas. And thanks again for sharing everything with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it because I love sharing this message, and I love sharing with other business owners what has helped us grow in our business and the mistakes we've made, and what's changed our business. And I think it's really important. I think we have an obligation as owners, business owners, to really help out, other business owners, and show them how they can improve and how they can do better. If we all did that, it would make a world of a difference in our country and in this world. So I think that's the key is sharing the success and then helping them do it. Not just saying, here's what I did, but like helping them do it. So thanks so much for letting me come on and share it.
Yeah, thank you again. To everyone out there listening, I really appreciate you tuning in. I hope you got a lot out of the call today. I know that the content was phenomenal, and we haven't had anyone talking about testimonials in this way before, and I doubt we ever will. So great information, and it's great to see that kind of content coming out here today. A lot of value. So you have been watching Erica DELSIGNORE, and I am the founder of Daily Lead Campaign, and this is my video interview series called Great Minds, Great Marketing. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.